Back. We're here with another winning lineup review after a brief hiatus. This is from the 2-5-22 NBA shot. I believe the pot was $50,000 and it was split between two guys with the same identical lineup, with one guy being jerblues and then another winner being flexbully. So congratulations to those guys. I'm gonna go through this lineup, kind of get my insights and thoughts on how these guys contributed to the winning lineup, and hopefully we can get something to take away from today and implement to our own research so that we're one day up here ourselves. As always, if you guys like the video, go ahead and drop me a like down below. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing me pump these out. And let's go ahead and get into it. At the first point guard spot, we have Kyle Lowry. He came in second highest total on the slate with the tightest spread on the slate, which is the environment we want from our point guards. Kyle Lowry just came back from, I believe, a 9-game absence, dealing with personal reasons. First game against the Spurs, kind of a doozy. It was a blowout. It didn't play much minutes. First game back, so you probably shouldn't expect much. This game, he kind of got back into his old self. Played his usual allotment of minutes. Kyle Lowry is a guy who's a pretty solid floor guy, 30 to 25 to 40 points and somewhere in that range any given night. So him coming in under 6,000 was a pretty good deal. Plus matchup here against Charlotte. Not a very good defensive team, as they play at a very fast pace. Kind of can have great defense when you play that fast. And then again, he's just simply too cheap for that solid production that he gives you night in, night out, especially with his defensive upside. And as we see, he put in 4 steals last night, and that's a free 12 points. So getting a cheap guy like this who has that defensive upside is very crucial, and he seemed to be worth it tonight. Next point guard spot, we have Tyrese Halliburton. Darren Fox has been out for the last handful of games. Probably going to get traded up here soon, but he's been the starting point guard with Darren Fox out. And that kind of opened him up as the head honcho of the offense, creating, taking shots. So he's kind of the guy on the offensive side. Again, this is a guy who has a different defense upside as well. As we can see, he certainly proved that to be true, adding on 2 steals and a block. He got to go up against the OKC defense, which we know has been hemorrhaging fantasy points all year, especially the point guards. This team was also without SGA and Dort as well, so the defense suffered even more. He came in with great history against OKC as well. In his last game, he put up 48 points, so he has a nice solid history. He backed that up tonight, again scoring 50.7 points. So this is just a great play overall. You got a guy who's handing the ball a lot, coming against a defense that's been struggling all year. Kind of an obvious play, but again, great play overall. First shooting guard spot, kind of a guy that's similar to Tyrese's situation. We have Josh Giddy. Pretty much all the OKC players worth mentioning were ruled out. SGA, Lou Dort. So it kind of left Giddy by himself to not only lead the offense in ball handling responsibilities, but also with shots. He certainly proved that to be the case. He put up 38 minutes last night with 19 shots. And he also has some good history without Dort. I believe the only game without Dort and SGA, he put up 60 against Dallas. So he came in with some good history with being the only guy on the court. Also a plus to his advantage was he had a very soft matchup against the Sacramento defense. Again, similar to Charlotte, they played a really, really, really fast pace, so it's kind of hard to play great defense when you're playing that fast. So with all that added up, it was kind of an obvious play, and we see that with the 52% ownership last night. Our first little off the wall play, our second shooting guard spot, we have Malik Monk. Ever since LeBron's been out, he's been the main shooter and scorer on the offense, right behind Anthony Davis. Westbrook just isn't getting it done. I don't know what he finished last night, but I checked at some point. He was 1 for 10. I mean, the guy's not doing anything out there, so somebody has to shoot the ball, somebody has to score. And it's been Malik Monk ever since he's been starting. He's been averaging about 20 shots a game, and we have that kind of volume for a guy in the 6,000s. I mean, that's simply too cheap for that. It was kind of expected that he would kind of lose his role with LeBron being back, but I think he got to keep it and hold on to it, not only to his good play with the role, but also the Lakers came in without Carmelo Anthony, who's a good scorer off the bench for them. So I think Malik Monk had to pick up some of that slack and keep up his shot attempts. So also the game went to overtime, which I mean obviously that certainly helped. Nobody really foresaw that or could have predicted that. So that was definitely a big boost there as well. First small forward spot we have Darius Baisley. Again, kind of like Josh Giddy, pretty much all the OKC guys were out. It opened up some minutes and shots for a guy like Baisley, who's been off the bench a lot. He's a good player when given the opportunity. Just hasn't really been given an opportunity. Aaron Wiggins has been starting over him, and the multitude of bigs they have out there have been kind of getting more opportunities over him. So tonight was a good opportunity for him to get out there and get some playing time. He certainly produced, played 37 minutes, and got out 14 shots. The 14 shots have been up from his below 10 average in his usual role. It was also against a very poor Sacramento defense, like I previously mentioned, similar to the Josh Giddy situation. He also came in with some pretty good history against Sacramento. He's been averaging 30 against Sacramento in his past 3 games, and that's also in his role where, his usual role, coming off the bench, playing, a little under 30 minutes. So with him playing a little extended minutes here and some more shot opportunities, it definitely opened up for him to score some more points tonight. Second small forward spot, we have R.J. Barrett. We've mentioned this guy previously in our lineup reviews. Simply way too cheap for the production and the minutes he plays with Tom Thibodeau coaching out there. He's been taking over 20 shots a game, 35 plus minutes a game. Last night he took an insane 28 shots. I believe in the first quarter he had 17 real life points alone. He was hitting the shots. Simply just a guy who's too cheap again. He was going up against the soft Lakers defense. Avery Bradley coming off the bench. Ariza coming off the bench. So nobody in that starting unit who can really hold him or compete with him defensively. And again, he was a guy who got to benefit from an overtime game as well. In our first power forward spot, we have Harrison Barnes. It's a little bit of a surprising game for Harrison Barnes with a 50 game. Usually the guys going to come in and give you 20 to 30. But ever since Darren Fox and Terrence Davis has been out, we've getting solid production from Harrison Barnes. He's been in the 30 to 35 range, night in, night out, a couple 40 games here, 15 plus shots a game, at least 30 points, like I previously mentioned, and at least 35 minutes played when the games have been close. So he's been a guy who's been certainly benefiting with those two guys out. And him coming in tonight against OKC, who again is a defense that hemorrhages fantasy points. And without Lou Dort, a guy who's their best defensive player, he kind of was able to take advantage of that. And certainly, scored efficiently, got some rebounds and some defensive stats. Just an overall efficient night for Harrison. And that's what helped him turn into a great game. Second power forward spot, we have Bobby Portis, who's really the center out there in Milwaukee. And again, as we previously mentioned, it's very advantageous to get a center eligible guy in the center and a power forward eligible spot, as they have a higher ceiling. Portis came with a great matchup. Portland's been top 5 defense with fantasy points allowed to centers over their past 15 games. He was super efficient last night. Hit 11 of 13 shots, was 6 of 8. Was also 6 of 8 from 3. So that was just an easy 18 points for him right there. Just great shooting night overall. And he also came in with some sneak solid history against Portland. Over his past 2 games, where he's only averaged 20 minutes, he was averaging 31 fantasy points. So him coming in playing some extended run, he could have been easily seen that he was going to put up some pretty good fantasy points here as well. And I believe he only came in at around 6,000. So that 30-point average would have been just fine, but he certainly went above and beyond that. And lastly, at our center spot here, we have Anthony Davis. Elite usage, elite minutes with defensive upside out of our center. He's a guy who has similar usage and production to guys like Jokic and Embiid, and those guys have been in the winning lineups the past 3-4 weeks. So getting a guy like this on a small slate who has that kind of ceiling that a lot of people are kind of off of, especially with the news that LeBron was playing tonight. That was a great opportunity to kind of take a low-owned, high-ceiling guy here. Again, he's been taking about 20 shots a game, playing 35-plus minutes a game. And that kind of was predicted to drop off with LeBron coming back. It didn't, so that was a good thing to see out of Anthony Davis. Usually a guy that kind of falls to the back seat when LeBron comes back, but I think they're really trying to emphasize AD as the guy this year to kind of help them turn their season around. And then again, he played an OT game, so that kind of helped as well. And that's going to wrap it up. So again, hopefully you guys took away something from this. It's been a while, past couple weeks. So hopefully we can kind of, get things going again, back to normal right before the All-Star break. And hopefully we can do well before we head into our break. And again, if you guys like this, go ahead and drop me a like. If you want to keep seeing me pump these out, go ahead and drop me a subscribe as well. Thank you, and I'll see you guys again.